this is a strange case of deja vu. I'm downstairs again. Yeah, so we had another kid, and the other kid is now in what used to be my studio, so I have been put back downstairs. So here I am. That's why I've been away for a little bit. I've been busy getting that room straightened up, getting this room ready again, so here we are, back downstairs. A Complete Unknown is a 2024 biopic starring Timothée Chalamet and directed by James Mangold. And honestly, I don't know much about Bob Dylan, and I still don't. I like a couple of his songs, but I was still interested to see this. I like Timothée Chalamet, and James Mangold is a terrific director, so yeah. I was excited to see this, regardless of what little I know about Bob Dylan and what little I still know about Bob Dylan. But yeah, let's go ahead and start this review off with the good. I really enjoyed this movie. Now, this is nowhere near the levels of Rocket Man or Elvis, but I still think this is a good biopic, a good look at the early years of Bob Dylan's career. Timothée Chalamet is pretty damn good as Bob Dylan. I wouldn't say he's on the same level as Taron Egerton as Elton John, or even Austin Butler as Elvis, or even Rami Malek as Freddie Mercury. But he still embodies Bob Dylan pretty well, and I thought that his performance was really interesting to see, really engaging. I'm glad he got an Oscar nomination for this, because honestly, I could see why it would get an Oscar nomination. He was really good here. Then you got Edward Norton as Pete Seeger, and honestly, he kind of stole the show for me here. I am a big Edward Norton fan. I have loved him in everything I've seen him in. Fight Club is like top 10 movies of all time for me. So yeah, I'm glad to see this little resurgence that Edward Norton is starting to get, and I'm glad that he got an Oscar nomination for this movie as well. Like I said, he's easily my favorite performance in this movie. I love how he embodies the singer that was Pete Seeger. I thought that he did really well. Now, you get this kind of like a glorified cameo, but another scene-stealing performance. You get Boyd Holbrook as Johnny Cash. And apparently James Mangold wanted Joaquin Phoenix to come back as Johnny Cash in this movie, but it didn't happen. But yeah, I really enjoyed Boyd Holbrook as Johnny Cash. Outside of Edward Norton as Pete Seeger, Boyd Holbrook is easily the scene stealer of this movie. He's just so much fun in the role. He does not take it seriously. Just like Johnny Cash, he just had that fun-loving charm to him. I really love that performance. Then you have Monica Barbaro as Joan Baez. I don't know who Joan Baez was. I don't remember if she's still alive or not. But Monica Barbaro did a really great job. She had great chemistry with Timothée Chalamet. Yeah, I really liked her here. I believe she got an Oscar nomination as well. That's a well-deserved nomination as well, if that is something that happened. Really liked her here. And finally, performance-wise, I want to point out Dan Fogler as Bob Dylan's manager. He does not get a lot of screen time, but he's more of just a comic relief character. But he just had such a fun presence every time he was on screen. And also the fact that they didn't make him the villain of the movie like they do with most manager characters. They even had this character getting in a fist fight with a festival worker in defense of Bob Dylan's music. So great change of pace for the normal biopic tropes, having the manager actually defend the singer instead of just being some slimy villain all the time. Good performance from Dan Fogler. Real fun. I enjoyed his performance here. Now, outside of the cast, I thought that this was a good story. Like I said, it was a really interesting look at the early years of Bob Dylan's career, how he got famous, his rise to fame, his struggles with some stuff that most musicians go through. I thought that it was a really good look, and I loved the whole timeline of the movie. It's told over a few years. There's a few time jumps, and you get some good Bob Dylan songs in there. The times they are changing, always been my favorite. That's because I'm a Watchmen fan, and the opening credits to Watchmen, one of my favorites of all time. So yeah, really love that. The editing is pretty well done. The emotions in this story, great, absolutely wonderful emotions. The score is great. The soundtrack is great. That's about all for the good. On to the bad. And there's a couple things here that just didn't quite work for me. First of all, I did like Timothée Chalamet as Bob Dylan. But there are some points in the movie where I'm like, okay, is he playing Bob Dylan or is he playing an SNL parody of Bob Dylan? Like I said, he did a good job. The Oscar nomination is well deserved. But there's some points in the movie where I'm like, did Bob Dylan really behave like this? Because I'm just a little confused. But that's probably just me not knowing much about Bob Dylan at that point. Also, I feel like this movie maybe could have been about 5 to 10 minutes shorter, especially near the end of the movie. You think it's over and there's another scene and then there's another scene and I'm like, okay, what are we doing here? But that's about it for the bad. So on the final thoughts, I thought that this was a really good movie, and I wasn't going to review this initially, but then I thought about it. I'm like, okay, maybe I should review it. Yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. A Complete Unknown was a really fun biopic look into Bob Dylan's early career, and I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. So that was my thoughts on A Complete Unknown. Have you seen this movie? What did you think about it? If you have seen it, let me know down in the comments. If you haven't seen it, what's your favorite music biopic? I'd love to hear from you. And I got 2 more 2024 reviews. I'm going to be reviewing The Substance, and then I'm going to be reviewing Nosferatu, and then I'm done reviewing 2024 movies. So if I didn't review your favorite 2024 movie, I'm sorry, I just ran out of time. So we're going to be moving on to 2025 after those 2. So, as always, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.